Let's have an honest talk before this video. I'm gonna read you some stuff. You need to see psychiatric help. Now, what in the world were you thinking when you were making this? Oh, this is gonna be badass. Do you do meth? Will you trade for a 51 Chevy that doesn't run? To say this Bronco is ruined the moment you touched it is an understatement. Ugly as, what were you thinking? That is nasty AF. This is an abomination. Play Russian roulette with 6 bullets. This thing is ugly. Looks like 2 dogs doing some questionable activities. Sorry, video of him doing some questionable activities down below. Please make it stop. You are moronic. Oh wait, that was me to somebody else. Now, that was just that. So basically, these are private messages that somebody has the gall to send personally to me. I will say, I did egg some folks on, and then these comments will be from who I egged on. We'll give them that, because I posted in a Purist group, basically. Why do that to a classic? Good Lord, man, what were you thinking? That got 16 likes. Bless their hearts for trying and failing. You did more than ruin it. You'd be better off with no front clip. Whistling Diesel needs your help. Fraud Bronco. I like that one. That was my favorite. Must be a relative of the Griswolds. That is definitely fugly. It is growing on me. Good Lord, what an absolute abortion. Ruined it is being polite from a different generation. Well, I think that's enough of that. Let's see this abomination get built.
Oh, Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve. And where down we go.
We're gonna revive this guy into something you all are gonna hate. So stick around if you wanna hate us even more, because this is gonna be absolute disrespect of an old animal. Let's talk about this. So it's a 1979 Ford Bronco. This was an inline-6 Bronco originally. Somebody put a Mustang 302 in it. So she hauls booty, not really, because it's granny geared. She's a good runner, long story short. And what we gotta do to her is pretty her up. Let's take a walk around. I bought this basically as you see it, other than when we go to the back, I'll show you. Somebody had these old school fender flares. Now you guys comment on them below. Where do you think these came from? Because I have no idea. Maybe they came from, I don't know. They're just trash. And they just zip screwed them back in. We got paint on the marker lights. And we got rust for days on this old girl. Whoop. Show them the floor. Whoop. A couple of nice little holes there. And then we've got a bounce off of a tree. Another rust hole. A really terribly looking bumper. And then we go back here and see what the first thing I did was a tailgate. This one's tailgate was gone. The window was being held up by 2x4s when we first got it. It's got the electric in it now and everything. It functions, so it's much nicer than the whole vehicle. You wondering why we're walking around really detailed like, because last time we did something to a vehicle that we're gonna like, we got roasted because everybody thought it was such a clean looking car. No, this is not a clean looking car. It's it's gone. So what we got going on, we got a good drivetrain and we got a good undercarriage. So what are we gonna do, Alex?
Make it look like a Raptor.
Make it look like a Raptor. This is a full-size Bronco. I'd say these new age Broncos are mid-size, or they're good size, but the Bronco Raptor is not a Bronco Raptor in my eyes. So we found a kit online. I've been looking at these kits forever. I wanted to do it to a Bronco, and I'm gonna say I got a little disappointed because I bought this kit secondhand and slightly messed up. This is gonna look like a Raptor when we're done with it, and it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be kind of an underlining project where we're gonna make it really pretty. Honk if you blow me. It's gonna be sweet, and then we're gonna do the undercarriage later, mostly because modify these suspensions on these Broncos is not cheap. We're gonna do some rust repair inside, and we're just gonna make some things function, and it will be sick. So what we got, and you can pull us up online because it's super easy to find, it's a FiberX, I think is the name. That's the brand, and it comes with pork chops, what do you call them? So these guys, it comes down, and then it comes with a front wrap, and then the lower wrap, and then it also comes with the rear bulges. All of it bulges out 4 inches to make it look like a 2014 Raptor. So here's the kicker of this whole deal. When I bought this kit secondhand, the gentleman told me it was for a 15 looking kit. 2015 and 14 are two different model years if you didn't know. And that's our issue right now is I'm not gonna love this near as much as I was hoping because it is going to be not what I wanted. But it's gonna be sick nonetheless. And we're gonna bring you guys right along with us, making this 1979 Ford Bronco up. You know what? I messed up the year every time. It's a 1980. Oh my gosh. Too many dates to remember. 1980. Anyway, the 1980 Ford Bronco. So next thing you're gonna see, we're gonna cut and we're gonna start fitting some body panels on with some tech screws and start taking this poor old girl apart and give her a new life. It is time to take this poor old girl apart. Let's jump inside this engine bay real quick and admire these custom inner fenders that somebody made. Here's the 302 that was shoved in here long ago. And she's got new carburetor a couple years ago now, new starter a couple years ago, and new coil. But otherwise, she runs real nice. She's got headers out to basically straight pipes, maybe some Flowmasters, what have you. Nothing too extraordinary back going. What we're gonna start with is basically just taking this whole front wrap apart. I don't really need to step you guys step by step on how to take this apart. The sad truth will come when we start cutting into this back end. Everybody's gonna really have a cow on that because it gets bad. One thing I'm gonna say about this Bronco that's in good shape is the front grille and the front headlight bezels, which is super rare for these trucks because I feel like they're, especially the bullnose trucks have been around since now the 80s. Yeah, they just get beat up so bad by people that don't respect them. I sound terrible right now, super hypocrite right now because I'm cutting it apart. But I'm gonna keep this grill and then the bezels because I know how it always works. Everything goes full circle, and we'll definitely need this someday. If not, I will sell it to somebody that's gonna make sure it goes to the right place and use because it's in such phenomenal shape. With one bracket broke off, that is it. Maybe two, but insane shape for off-road vehicle. Sometimes you do need two hands. Anyway, this was full of water in the back of the Highboy, Cummins. And on the way over there, I smoked the dump trailer, bent it right here, well, cracked it right there, and cracked it right there. So, not the best part of the night, I suppose, but this gives you guys a really good idea. Everything just wants to keep fighting me. It'll be phenomenal. Boom. Pretty sure that's what we're gonna be looking at. Gosh, that's just too bad. I don't know how it looks for you guys. As oh wait, what a night. Attacked my gnats. Soaked. I bent my broom. I'm holding up with the broom. Nope, bent it more. I'm sure everybody hates it, but it's a Raptor. I got a 4-foot ladder in front of yours, as you should, holding up the front end. And let's just take a look at this fitment so far, because it's kind of booty hole. Obviously, it's gonna be hard for me to do this with camera, but as soon as I flush that up, I've got this round issue right there. And we also have kind of quite the gap right here. So this needs to come back about another, probably half an inch. So nothing crazy. And then, but if we come back half an inch, that pushes that into that. Might put it into the door. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way I can somehow fasten this guy in a way that's gonna stay so I can work this front on. Otherwise, thinking about also just screwing this guy to the main front for right now, so I can just adjust as I need to. And then this stays perfect with this, since it's gonna have to be two pieces anyway. It does look pretty decent down under. Some quality concerns down there. More than anything, this sat in someone's barn for a very long time. This was ordered in 2015, almost 10 years ago. Some of the issues I'm gonna have is just from sitting, but other than that, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for getting this on an extreme budget. Other thing is you can kind of see here, I'm gonna shave a little bit off here so this sits down, and I may try and decide if I want to take it out of the header panel, if I want to take it out of this guy to bring this down. Because if I cut, let's say if I cut this, then our pork chop corners are also going to have to be modified. Not the end of the world. It seems as though it needs to be cut that and then squared up anyway. So I'll go ahead and play with that. I don't want to cut anything because to put it back is going to be the devil. Now that the front end's kind of, I'm not going to say figured out, I'm going to transition into getting this rear end ready and then kind of shoot those on because those are super easy, simplistic and easy. And that's what we always go to. Go to the easy part first so you feel good for 5 minutes. So we got the fender flare and taillight out. With this situation at hand, I think we are going to have to do some cutting right here. Obviously you'll see it be something like that, come up at an angle and straight off. And then I got to take my fin tool and I'm going to cut underneath this groove all the way around. Boom, bang, boom, bomb, bing, bang. Something like that. So that way our taillight can actually sit in its housing. Something like that. Kind of sick. As of right now, our front end, I did find a box that came with this kit. It has these little stainless latches in it, which is pretty sweet. So those will end up going right here and then probably right here. And then we figured out that we're gonna put push pins / maybe hood pins right there, and then there and there. So then this hood will just come straight up and those will stay as well as the whole front grille portion. So that way we can just get full access to our engine from the sides if we want to, or from the front pretty easily because we're gonna have a winch bumper on this. This isn't gonna be your typical Baja. Okay, so this taillight has some tabs in the back. These guys, these usually snap into little rubber or plastic grooves in those, so that's something we're gonna have to play with. We'll have to probably just drill these holes out. Potentially this has threads behind it, and we'll take those threads out and see if we can thread a coarse threaded screw through the back, and then we'll just have to reinstall the rear section. Time to start cutting big time. Definitely tell this is a rough form. If I could not fight myself here. My goal is to have it so I actually have to shave this over here a little bit. So it's so flush with the door you can barely tell the body line versus the 5/0 glass line. Something I'm not happy with is that this kind of just sits up in limbo. You know, some things online are just a lot prettier online than they are in person. But we'll get it so it somewhat functions correctly, I suppose. Just take a look at that. That is so good. Now we're at here. Let's go up this front area. This is what I was talking about. I'd really like to be right at that edge. Right now, somehow the bottom needs to come up back here, and that would close this gap. Otherwise, down here is good. It's kind of ugly right there. Not terrible, honestly. I think I'm gonna put one right there. Let's go get this screws. Zipped in there. Put another one of these in the taillight housing area. Now we can kind of step back and take a gander at what abomination we have created. It's not bad. Interesting. Well, now I'm kind of looking at here. We've got some issues. Interesting. That's something I'm gonna have to do a little research on why that is so off-centered. Center. Good gravy. We're gonna have to move this axle back 3 inches. Going on their website, that's what it says to do. It's for stretched Bronco. I didn't know that. That's okay. We're gonna go with the flow. And here's a company that sells perches that we can throw on our rear end and bring her back 3 inches to make it nice, pretty like. Not a big deal. We already got to get some spacers to bring these out a little bit for the time being until we get crazy with the suspension. So the wheelbase stretch, that will be our first extremism of the new suspension. It kind of sucks because I was going to do a little bit more extreme stuff in the rear end, but at this point, probably just going to bring this back 3 inches on this project. We can at least kind of get a good idea what it looks like after I maneuver that front end back where it needs to go. There she is. Looks pretty sweet if you ask me. How should look on here? Looks interesting, I will say that. I don't love it as much as I was hoping, but it's different to say the least. What the heck, dude? So I moved up front because of my utter disappointment with the back. We won't talk about that yet. For this project, we're just gonna use square stock. As much as I hate to tell you guys, I wish I had a tubing bender and we could bend up some really sick tubing and do this thing like insane. Budget doesn't allow for that this time around, especially to buy a nice hydraulic tubing bender. So here we are with our typical hardware store square stock. Still in the budget area. I don't know if I stepped you through this yet or not, but this Bronco is $2,500. This front end, we got it online on Facebook Marketplace for like 800 bucks. And then I've got floor pans in there, and then steel and some panel bond. We don't have a lot of money into this vehicle. So far, we're probably right underneath $3,000. That math doesn't math. We're probably right under $4,000. I know nowadays $4,000 doesn't get you much. I don't think this is a terrible deal as of yet, but we'll see when we slowly crank away on this old girl. Hopefully, I gotta order those stretched leaf spring mounts now, and I also need to order a grill and the back plate for the tailgate. We still got some stuff to buy, but all in all, so far pretty budget friendly. We're doing some fabrication work today, slash tonight, slash for a couple hours. What I got going on here, we've got our front end basically where we want it, slash taped up, slash mocked up. We got to build a skeleton, basically mock up our headlights to it, as well as fit our little nose piece here to it, and do a couple other little knickknacks to it. Once this front section is done, we can kind of move backwards into the hood area. Not as worried about that. This is, front sections just takes so much fabrication. Good part is that once we get this front section done, it's all extremely cut and dry. As you saw with the back end, just throwing some square tube, throwing some rib nuts in, and running it. This is front end's definitely the hardest part, and we still need to get a couple different things for the front end itself. Otherwise, I got these two guys burned in real quick. They look a little off. I will definitely tell you guys right now. So I need to measure these, see where we're sitting. Got 8.5 there. This one looks definitely shorter than that. We're at 7.5 there. So I think we're a little cockeyed. Probably gonna have to cut some tacks. I just forced everything. So both sides are sitting about 10 inches though. So I don't know. We might be good. It doesn't look like she's sagging at all. Odd duck. Not too worried about it right now. I guess once we get this front end together, we'll know a lot more. But I'm gonna go ahead and mount two so they come out here as far forward as possible, and then we're going to connect those with a center beam, and then we'll triangulate down from there, and we're going to cut a notch into this and come down into it. That is the plan, and I'll show you guys as I go. Something surprisingly everybody asks us is kind of what tools we use for the job. You know, I never thought that would be kind of questions, but I guess everybody has their questions, and I got to give them the answer. To do some of this fabricational stuff, I have a couple things. A lot of people are going to have a bandsaw table. I have this. Mostly it was for plumbing, for big cast iron pipes, because usually you burn up Sawzall blades a heck of a lot quicker than these bandsaw blades. These are like 350 bucks. This is probably the most expensive piece of equipment other than the welder that I have for this kind of stuff. We have the old titanium 140. That is a very good system for someone starting out. I would 100% recommend going to Harbor Freight and picking that up if you can afford it. Next thing I'd recommend getting that we don't have, especially if you're wanting to get into some customary stuff, is maybe a pipe bender. Don't get one of those sit on the ground ones with the stupid, get one of those stand up ones, has the pole deal. This rib nut gun, you'll see a lot of guys using these now for their build projects. So rib nut, thread insert, whatever you want to call it. Very helpful little gun. That's what I'm gonna use quite a bit for this project because it's just extremely helpful for what it is. And I've seen a lot of actually positive reviews on these. In my mind, I'd think a thread insert would, once it hits, enough bubble bouncing around, it would cause the friction to go away and kind of have an issue. But these seem to not have as big of an issue as I thought. So there's just kind of a quick know-how on what we got. Material-wise, we have a bunch of steel that we picked up from a local person. Do not go to Home Depot. Do not go to Lowe's. Don't go to Menards. Don't go to Baumgart. Don't go to any of your farm stores and stuff. This is going to be so expensive. Go out and support your local steel shop and pick it up through them. And a lot of times they charge you at cost. Me being who I am, we've got to tell them to add in their side of things so we can keep those places alive. We don't have any machine shops left just because of that kind of circumstance. Why do I always pick up right where I just folded? Question of the day. This might look like a piece of metal to everybody, but this is actually a headlight mount. So how this is gonna work, I got my thread, or my little rib nuts in there. So basically this slides in. Slides on into them DMs. Oh my gosh. Something happened here. Yep. I bent some stuff. Let's do some bending back here. Hold tight. So, well, you'll see here, this is supposed to support the top and bottom. And then this guy, I drilled a new hole through the actual housing itself because we can't pick up any of these guys that actually in the Ford trucks themselves slide into its own groove. So I had to make it kind of work substantially better. Okay, now you guys can kind of see what's happening here. Go from my view. There you go. So I need to bend it back a little bit more, but this is the best way I'm seeing to do this. I don't know how anybody else has done it yet that has done this Bronco swap because this is very illy documented. As far as I'm concerned, this is the only way to do it right now. The part we're gonna have issues with is connecting these two. I'm hoping we really won't have to, due to the fact the housing will kind of pick up some of the slack. If you guys are doing this at home, I recommend having a little bit more space. Yeah, boys, illy prepared. Shout out to everybody that's in 2-car garages or 1-car garages. You guys are more skilled in my eyes than when you're getting all this stuff done than the big 5-star shops and these $1 million budgets. Come on in here. There's the top ones. There's that one. And then there's that guy. Very close and orderly. Then once all these are bolted up tightly, so we have a good benchmark, we're gonna put it up in there and then start trying to figure out how we're gonna get that headlight tied into all of our odd skeleton inside there. Now, you guys are saying to yourself right now, wow, sure wish this was round tubing. You and me both. All right, beautiful thing to see both headlights in. So we're moving on to these stainless steel clips now. And I'll kind of walk you through that here in 2 seconds. All right, let's talk about this quick for a minute. My goal for this rig was, I watched a guy and he used this very expensive panel bond the whole project. And I wanted to see if I could make it so I didn't have to use $100 tube panel bond. Could bite me in the butt later, but it's always, everything's fixable in the future. What I came up with here, so we got these rivets, these little cute little red rivets. They're gonna get painted, don't worry. But what we're gonna use them for is, we're gonna come in here, boop, something like that. And then on the other side of the fiberglass, we're gonna use this guy. So this guy takes the whole force of this rivet. And basically the fiberglass is just sandwiched in there forever and ever, amen. Hypothetically, that'll work. So what I'm gonna do is, I already marked this all the way over here. I'm gonna pop all the holes for these rivets. And then we're gonna start attaching this. And that's gonna either leave us with 6 unusable holes or 6 usable holes. We don't know. These things look a little tacky. I'm not the happiest with them, but it's what the kit came with, and this is what you buy from Fibrix. If it's good enough for Fibrix and trophy truck, it's gonna be good enough for a very rusty Bronco. All right, the first one is on. It does follow the body line really nicely, which is great. And then, actually pretty good fan of it because it falls right where that liner, I can't really see in there, where there's a body. It's like this little, well, I'm just gonna be honest, it looks like a boob. A boob comes out and goes into the inset version. And then this thing's spring loaded, and then it has enough spring in it. So if I'm hitting bumps pretty hard, it feels really good, honestly. This pork chop is not moving at all, and the hood is all moving. So it's great news. Now we just need to get another one set up, get something set up here. And then once this guy is bolted heavily, we're gonna have a really sweet setup. Latches are in on both sides. Now it's time to get our hood done for our hood pins that we're gonna custom make. So we gotta get the support welded in from up here to up here. up there to there, and then back around. And then that'll provide us for the crossbar for here, and then crossbar for up here. This is more solid than I was expecting, honestly. She's looking good. And then we gotta make the grill. I'm in between if I wanna make the grill right now or I wanna make the hood pins. We're gonna measure out for the hood pins because we can. Kind of want to stay in the line, so let's figure out here. All right, from center of bevel, we're gonna go 9 inches. 9. We're always gonna go at an angle because that'll be kind of cool. This is all vented up here. We're gonna go off the 4th. Boom. We're gonna go 2 inches in from the hood line. Boom, boom. Okay. Funny story. You can see this through the daylight, shines through the fiberglass. All right, we're gonna do some test holes, make sure we're hitting something, and after that, we're gonna figure out how we can jockey ourselves up inside. If I just weld a piece of angle iron in here, that'll be great. Honestly, I don't see why that wouldn't work. The only reason why it's special is because we did it, and not $1 million shop. All right, you guys might ask yourselves right now, why is he using his wife's fabric measurement tool? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if I didn't use it, I'd be messed up on measurements because I can't really bend a tape measure like this. So I'm burning an inch on both sides right now. So at the top, we're gonna be right at 51.5. That's giving us an inch so we can bend it backwards. 51.5. Okay, now I gotta get some tape because I don't have 6 hands. I just got 3 arms. 50.5. Okay, she concaves down, or whatever you want to say, angles down a little bit. So we'll take 1/2 inch off both sides. She's looking a little naked right now. But here is the product of the front end. I decided I want to film it instead of just going to town. But you can kind of see the entirety of the framework inside. It's much uglier off camera, but looks pretty decent from on camera. Right now, I'm taking the headlights off, and then it's time to get every joint welded on this, and then add in our supports to the firewall, which is gonna come off this guy and then angle over to that. Same with this side, boom, boom. And then off of this guy, we're gonna have one go straight across to meet each other. And they're gonna be 3 1/4 inch off of this firewall. So that way we can get our hood pins in that as well. Okie dokie, boys and girls. We're got these mounts all taken care of. Going to the firewall, and we can connect now these bars to the next set of bars that will go in. That is going to hold the back of our hood. Once this last bar is in, we're doing really good, is all I'm saying. We are so close to be able to just throw some plastic up over the engine, make a plate for all the other stuff to mount on, rerun some wiring. We're looking really good. Inner fender wise, I think we're gonna wait on those until when we figure out the future of this guy and kind of decide from there how we want to take it. At this point right now, we're getting close on the front end. We're not close on the rear end or inside or anything else. That's all right. This was the biggest job other than kind of figuring out how we're gonna mount a bumper, and also, you know what, we got a lot more to do, but it's looking good. Well, there we go. There's the cross section in. Don't worry, I can get the air cleaner off. Yeah, about that, we'll have to think about it later, especially if we go with anything bigger. If this ever gets a larger engine, or more performing engine, I think it'll be just fine. It'll be very close, but worst comes to worst, we just gotta something like that. Now I gotta build something like I just and get it so we can use that for our pins for the back of the hood. Once we get the back of the hood done, she's gonna be nice and stout. So these are very stout, so we don't have to worry about that. If we ever get in an accident, those are gonna go through the firewall and kill me, which is ideal, honestly. About ready to make the radiator tabs and that, and then goodness gracious, fabrication central. We got this, we got the battery box popped in here. Kind of like the way it's looking. I did bend the side of it to match our angle. That won't affect anything at all. The only thing we're gonna have to do is add a little bit shimmage because I've got 2 bolts sitting, so it's gonna sit offset unless we do some stuff. This was obviously bought and paid for. This was way more expensive than I wanted to pay for battery hold down, but I already had it in my hands when I checked out, and I kind of felt like an idiot if I returned it. Then I made this nice piece of sheet metal. We're going to use it to basically bolt all of our stuff up to. I put the little thread inserts in there. These things are the slickest thing. If you don't have one of those, like I said before, go get one, because they're just so good. I guess we'll know once we start hitting some off-road trails and stuff how many of these fall out. And I was kind of worried that the sheet metal was going to be a little bit thin for this, but I think once we get all of the things that go on there, I think it'll be more than adequate. Nice. How many licks does it take to get to the center of your mother? You'll never know. Here's the next fun that's going to be had, is that we're going to transition all this stuff, into making it work with the new headlight. That's gonna be a pain in the Djibouti. Not looking forward to that. Just gonna have to go from wire to wire and see what operates the big bad girls, and see what operates the garbage I got. There's our all of our wiring relocation transpiring, so it's out of harm's way, except for it's all gonna sit on the headers now, which is right where we like to have it. So it melts and causes fire. I don't know what this guy is for, but I'm thinking it's important. So this vehicle was converted from a inline 6 to a 302, so some of these were not going to be used ever. This thing ran perfectly beforehand, so hoping it runs perfectly again. Bronco is coming along quick, I tell you. Not really. This front end has taken half my life plus more. What we got going on here? I got the rear supports welded in, got them shaved down even, rounded over, so it's all perfect. Not really. What we're going to do here, or what we had to do here, is I had to make notches, and they're two different notches because of the fiberglass. If you'll walk over here with me, these come down differently. This one is deeper. This one is substantially deeper than the other side. Bingo bango. And it sucks because now these are basically a solid block now, because I had cut so much out and welded in everything. Battery box, weld solid, beautiful. We are finally reaching the end of our journey with our front end. When I catch you on the next clip, you're gonna meet me inside, and we're gonna go to town on getting this floor replaced, because in reality that's the worst part of this whole vehicle. We're gonna get that rolling, and then we're gonna start pumping out this interior, because she needs a lot of work to be kind of match the outside. We're still not out of the woods yet. Here's what we got going on. We got floor plan ready to go and secondary piece ready to go on. This side, pretty lackluster. I'll time lapse that side so you guys can see the process, but pretty simplistic. Just cut it out, make it happen. Just make an outline. It's pretty simplistic. The only thing it takes forever is grinding those welds down that I'm got to mark out on this guy still. Drill some holes in him, and then I'll burn it to it. Same with right there and right there. So I'll end up making a couple in here. I'm gonna do some spraying. I gotta clean it out, vacuum it, and then I'm just gonna spray some rust reform in there and then bed line it. I'm gonna tack this most of the way in. I'm not gonna burn it in solid. I'm gonna burn it in as best it possibly can be, so it has strength, and then I'm gonna seam seal the rest. If that's the wrong way to do it, you guys can yell at me. It'll be just fine. Probably just, we'll see. Maybe I'll get crazy with it. We don't know. Let's get to melting this guy in and drilling holes in her. All right, this side is completed. Now I just gotta sand the floor down. I'm gonna seam seal all my stuff going on. Wait for that patch panel to come in. I just want to show you guys how good the seat looks. You can just see the Wapta. Oh, maybe not. Maybe there it is. Wapta. We got these headlights in place for one reason, and that's to get this grill fitted. Now off camera I already kind of got it fitted, and we're getting ready to throw some thread inserts along that, and then the bottom will end up getting welded. I'm kind of maybe deciding, now I'm thinking about it, maybe we'll just do the same thing down there, up there. So we just have a very nice looking bolt arrangement, and then we got to decide what we want to do with this grill. Now, this might be something where let's just leave it plain for now. And if you guys have any ideas down in the comment section, put it down there, and we'll maybe do it later. We're getting to the point with this project where she's been going on for a while, mostly because of all the rust inside and outside, and the seats I bought for the back, just to give you some details, are just too wide. You gotta love it. So I'm gonna be cutting the wheel wells out a little bit. Not a big deal, because this will be up a little bit further in the air someday. And I've already checked. We'll probably go a little bit wider offset this way, since we're gonna be doing some balancing. This is already cut out massively. Coming in 3.5 inches with the wheel well is not a big deal. We'll get that mended, and we'll show you guys on the next phase. As of right now, she's going. Grill time. Okay, so got these little letters off the Amazon, the cheapest letters I could find, and that's gonna spell out Bronco. So I already cut out a couple grooves like that. I know it's not beautiful, sorry y'all, but a couple grooves are cut out, ready for those letters to go in. One thing, if I can teach you guys anything in this world, is that go grab yourself, even if you're just a weekend warrior here, go grab yourself a Milwaukee M12 battery, even if you don't have the tools. And it gives you the opportunity to, especially if you're modifying the new stuff, to work with old stuff, or just kind of wondering about how wiring works. These give you a really good opportunity to just test everything. So I went ahead and cut the harness off this headlight, and I was completely able to run through it with the M12, figure out what was what, because these have a DRL, they have turn signal, they have a side marker, and they have the high-lows. So I got everything figured out. Once the paint is dry on the grill one more time, we're gonna go ahead and install the Bronco, and this front end will start kind of wrapping it up. Other than our bumper that's on its way, that was gonna have to take a lot of modifications. So the good part is we have plenty of room in this area to add a winch mount, which is what I really wanted. I know this is a Baja truck, but when you're moving stuff around some of these yards, you really like to have a winch. And as of late, we've had to use Alex's Cue the Tacoma. Other than that, mainly today, I need to focus on inside there and getting the inside wrapped up. After we get the inside wrapped up, we can kind of run back here and start tidying up, get rid of that hitch, because I hate to tell you guys, we're not gonna be hauling any trailers anymore. These U150s should never really haul trailers. If you ask me, they're a little short wheelbase. So coming inside, it's still the same thing. Well, Amazon is Amazon, that's for sure. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I will say I'm not sold on it, just because, being that I know this isn't like an original grill or OEM grill for a Raptor front end, it just kind of bothers me, because in my eyes it looks cheap. But if you guys like it, I mean, this is cheap as you could get. A normal Bronco grill is $800. This one, or sorry, Bronco, I meant Raptor, 2014 Raptor. So this saved me about, oh man, probably this cost maybe $75, and then the letters were another $34. Then we also have the little tri-bar coming, so, and then those are $30. So grill wise, we saved over $650, and that's not even including their lights, because they take those out. So we saved a lot on this grill, saved a lot on the headlights, because these are just some more China built stuff, but they'll be pretty. I've got the wiring laid out for those, but there she is. Executive decisions were made here. Right now, basically here, lining up right here, I'm gonna weld a piece of metal, angle, because we don't have a lot of budget left for steel. So I got some angle left. We're gonna go full length, boom. I'm gonna keep 48 inches in the center, so if I ever wanna haul anything and pull these seats out, I got it. That's gonna go whoop. And another one, go right there. We're doing a 1-inch spacer on this truck anyway. You can see why. I'm gonna keep these rims and tires for now, just because they're brand new, just purchased. So do a 1-inch spacer, get it out further. No, we're not jumping the truck yet. So that 1-inch spacer is gonna push this even further, but I'm gonna line it up as it is right now to give us enough push to where we need to be. You're asking why I'm doing this, and that is because I spent good money on these seats and I want to use them. Although they're not optimal due to the fact they have all this crap on the back and they look like poop. We already got to do some custom touches in the back, so a little bit extra project board and vinyl will go a long way on these, because I can screw it all the way around it. They're all nice and metal framed. This one has some This one's pretty. I got some cutting to do. I'm gonna cut that guy off because it shares its mounting spot right here, and then tighten that guy back up, and then cut these off, and then shoot some new holes in it. I'm sorry guys, this is just a lot of cuts. This project is taking out a lot longer than expected, but it's turning out a lot better than expected. As usual, I'm gonna update you guys as I'm rolling along here. So here is our first taillight. I got it all basically installed. She's really nice and tight. It actually holds the fiberglass in even more so. I just popped all the way through, bingo bango, and then I got all of the wires kind of where they need to be. Here's, as I showed you guys before, take this guy and test it with your 12-volt battery, and then that'll tell you everything you need to know and more. And then go back here, get a test light, and test light everything you have, and then you can kind of differentiate what you need. This is an LED basically switch panel, and basically this darker color is the turn signal, and that's brake lights, and then obviously ground. We got these two little guys, and that's our backup. On that side I have, drum roll, there's a camera there. Right now I'm doing a backup camera on it. Yes, I know this is way above and beyond what our channel is about, but just figured this one is going to be for sale. We're going to do it right. Now I've got that one rigged up with the backup camera, ground, and backup light. So not even sure if the backup light works on this guy, but we'll pray. Second thing I'm gonna tell you, go on Amazon, buy yourself some of these connectors. These 3 ways, you can get them 2 ways, you can get them 5 ways, you can get them 6 ways, and I'm gonna use these for the front and back. I couldn't find them, so I didn't use them for that one, so that's ugly wired, but we can always go back and fix that if we really need to. And then I'm gonna head up there, and then we've got a substantial amount of lighting to hook up here. Today is the big day. We're taping off. We've got this side almost ready. Gonna get some garbage bags over the wheels. But this vehicle is ready to be transformed for good into woodland green. Top, we're just gonna do a really budget friendly bed liner. This is very thin, and that's why I like this one the most, just because I don't really like a very heavy texture. And if you get the different ones, it's very heavy texture. This one also has a gloss tone to it, which I very much like. That's what the grill is. It's sitting over here. The bed liner right now, chilling in the back seat. I gotta grab it, but it is Raptor liner from Amazon. So you guys can just look it up, pretty easy. Probably seen it a million times, but plan for that is we're gonna thin it and shoot it out of a Hobo Freight HVLP gun. And if you look over there, I had to purchase basically the cheapest air compressor I could find. I know that kind of ruins our budget-friendly build, but I needed one for my business anyway. I had to purchase something that can maintain pressure for the HVLP gun. We got a little bit of wind today, and it's outside. Are we gonna get the most perfect paint job in the world? No. Is it Raptor liner and kind of like a bed liner situation? Yes. I'm not worried about it. I'm extremely excited to get this thing finalized in the paint and get a very good look at it, because right now she's looking mighty beautiful. And finally we got these mounts ready to go, so we will be able to wrap this whole thing up tomorrow, and we will finally get some roller shots of this old girl after months, probably 2 months of on off working on it. Extremely excited to finish this guy up so we can continue on to our other projects. I'm also, guess we'll see how well or how happy I am about how it turns out. Wow, great day for this stuff, huh? We always get graced with the perfect days to do everything.
All you do is complain.
I know. So, the roof is getting the black, and it's not that big of a deal how it goes.
The Voss right there.
Trying to do a light coat, but it's literally already dry. We're letting her rip, basically, is what we're doing right now. Not the brightest idea for the day to the paint job, but it's not been windy, and it was 70 degrees all week. This is 90 degrees and windy. But this is the last day we have to work on, or I have to work on. Raptor is a 2-part urethane coating that gives ultra tough protection to vehicles and many other services. Mix Raptor tinable base with Raptor color, available separately.
Let's screw that it's not like a package.
It's so stupid. Before using Raptor coating, here's what we got. We got this guy, and then we got the woodland green is what I went with. Then we're doing this a completely separate way than anybody else. We are using an HVLP gun. We are going to shoot it out with the air compressor. I drilled this nose out to 5/64, otherwise known as 2 mm, so that way we have capabilities to make a smoother, better finish rather than a really gravelly finish. The top is already a little textury, so I think it'll match perfectly with the not as textury base coat. Right now, we are waiting for the upper portion to dry, and then we'll spray it on in. This is Alex's second part in the whole video. How do you feel?
Great. I am the tripod now.
I'll get my head on straight on how I'm gonna mix this, and then we're just gonna start spraying. And then it's gonna be what it's gonna be after that.
Create a wind barrier right there.
We made a very expensive wind barrier, comprised of a Javelin, a GMC, and a van.
What do you think of your Fortress so far? Filled up for 30 minutes.
I'm pretty, sorry. I'm pretty depressed on how bad that actually is. I mean, what do you get for nowadays for $400? What do you expect, I guess? I expected a lot more, which is probably my bad. So we're gonna do the right thing and spray this thing outside with
Hurricane Katrina.
Hurricane Tortilla. I messed up.
Just shake it.
This is.
That's not gonna shake.
I messed up. So unprepared for everything in life. But it's okay. We're professionals. 40 PSI.
Whoa, you let your feet run wild. Thomas, come as we all go down. Yeah, but for the fall, ooh, my heart, do you dare to look me right in the eyes? Yeah. Oh, 'cause they will run you down to the door. Yeah, someday we'll run you down till you fall. And they will run you down till you fall. Yeah, till you can't go no more. And where down we go, where down we go. Say where down we go. Oh, 'cause say we run you down till you call. Oh, way down we go.
It's 2024. We have ourselves on our hands an identity crisis Bronco. It doesn't know what it is, but I tell you what it is. This is a jumbled up mess of a 1980 Ford Bronco and a 2011 through 14 F-150 Raptor. Okay, how I got this idea. I wanted to do this for the longest time ever, blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, a kit, Fabrics kit is what it's called, came up for sale not too far from us. So we decided to take a trip and go and pick it up. Now, in the ad and in my mind, I knew what I wanted. I wanted the 15 through for this generation Bronco, front end, not the 14 or 11 or whatever. I wanted that. Now the guy reassured me, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I got the wrong front end, got the wrong whole shebang, blah, blah. Hated it, disliked it. I was very angry in the back of the truck on the way home from that. I was kind of putting it off, and finally one day I just told Alex, I said, I'm turning into the Bronco. We took the nice bull nose off of it, we took the nice everything off of it, and I started converting this thing with a ton of fabrication to make this Fabrics kit fully removable with ease. So obviously if you've made it this far, if you haven't made it this far, we're depending on where to put this, it was a pain in the butt and took a lot of time, a lot of fabrication, and a lot of thought process. But guess what? Made it happen, and the result is interesting. We did go with the Raptor liner. Would I do it again? Yeah, probably. It sprayed well. Would I go with everything I did? You know what? The only thing I am very disappointed on this whole build is the front bumper. That's the only thing, and that's the only thing basically I didn't make. Even the cheap grill I made worked great. Even the cheap letters that say Bronco look great. You know, even it was all pretty cheap. It started out as a budget build. Did we end on a budget build? No. We ended on something that I have made way too nice for my own good, and way too nice for our channel. This isn't a death trap. This is actually a nice rig. The seats are operational electric wise, the navigation, you know, it just doesn't fit our quota. And for that reason, what are we gonna do with this vehicle, Alex?
Destroy it.
We're gonna throw it off this freaking mountain because it's too nice. No, this will be for sale. So if you like an identity crisis Bronco,
Giveaway number 1.
or if you guys think we should give this away, tell all your friends to subscribe and we'll give this away in the future. No, but if you want it, it'll be up for sale. If you know this channel, you'll find me. And if you want the Bronco, you'll find it. I've got a ton of time into it. It's not a 10 out of 10. I will say that. I'm not even gonna say it's a 6 out of 10, but it is a 10-footer. And it will get you the looks. And you know what? It might get you more ladies than a Mustang, or a Javelin, or a Camaro, or a Tacoma. I don't know what it'll do, but this is my take on a Bronco Raptor from 1980/14. So if you guys like this build, I'm sure we're gonna do plenty of them in the future. Maybe not this nice, but definitely like, subscribe, tell us what you think. And I'm always happy to hear the bad things, the good things, and the hatred. I love the hatred, especially. So let us know what you think. I guess one thing I didn't touch base on. I learned that fiberglass in different orifices in your body itch very badly. What I learned? Nothing. Didn't learn nothing. We're terrible at painting. How about that? So buy our next shirt.
What is our next shirt?
Dude, I don't remember. What did it say? It's not a run if it all runs. We'll see you guys on the next revival. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Bye-bye, Bronco. I'm not one to get mad, or not. I don't even want to say it. Yeah, I get mad. You see on camera all the time. Versus these vehicles, you know, I don't get too crazy mad at humanity most times, but that doesn't even really make me mad because I kind of brought it upon myself. We bring a lot of this upon ourselves, what we do to spur people on. Now, but I am gonna say, it's getting, how can I say this nicely? The generation we kind of trip the trigger on is not exactly nice and not exactly welcoming to different ideas and or unique ideas. They're older than us. They're making it a little hard for the new generation to really get into cars. And being a business owner, being who I am as a person, it's making it very hard for this younger generation to really want to work on these things, especially when people are saying you need to take a gun and literally kill yourself. Do you think that's going to want to make somebody work on a vehicle that they had a unique idea to do? Now let's get into this. You know, I'm done crying about, or whatever you want to call me, doing that. But I just want to say we are in this vehicle space to want people to get into the vehicle space, to want to work on the cars, to get the younger generation to cars. My whole goal is to get the next generation, younger generation than me, which isn't much terribly younger to drive, to get into vehicles and have a good time with them and understand you can be unique and do whatever the heck you want. My goal is to help people and educate people and make people want to get into vehicles. Now, that is not going to happen with people's closed minds. Now, let's just be honest here. You need to get the heck off this channel. If you're subscribed right now and you want to have a heart and soul full of hate just because, oh my gosh, someone just put the wrong color paint on a car, someone did this, get the heck off the channel. We don't want you here because we are here to have a good time. We're here to spread some happiness. We're here to spread some fun, some excitement, get some younger people into this vehicle space, and maybe make some laughs for you folks. We're not here to promote dark souls. How does that sound? You know, if you want to cry about stuff and say, oh my gosh, whatever, it's a piece of freaking metal. Calm down. Everything is undoable, easily peasily. Now, that's what I got. I'm done crying. Now, let's talk about this kit on this Bronco, because this is going to be a hot topic, and I'm not going to talk very much because we'll probably have to convert this into the outro now. Basically, I want to say this kit is fully removable. This Bronco was rusty as hell and still has some rust underneath that can be taken care of. This Bronco was not good. I could feel the frame underneath my right foot when I accelerated beforehand. It's terrible. And this was the most unique imaginary way to do it on a budget to not be in a shop doing body work for a year and a half. It's back on the road. It's unique. I get plenty of views from kids being just laughing their butts off, smiling at it, whatever. You know what? That's what it's all about. It's all about enjoying the vehicle. What's the quickest way I can get this on the road? Yeah, everybody's gonna, if people hate it, whatever. Who cares? Basically, my statement here is, we did not ruin this. We changed this looks up and we reimagined it. / I did. If you hate it that much, I'll make you a deal on it. You can PM us and you can drive this thing off a mountain for how much I care. All in all, everybody just needs to realize they are pieces of metal. We all love them dearly, but we also have to somewhat enjoy our other partners, friends in the automotive industry's interests and kind of help each other out, because this is a dying hobby. And if we all hate each other, guess what? There ain't gonna be no hobby left. And every one of these, it's gonna be in the junkyard because you decided to tell some kid to play Russian roulette with his nutsack instead of working on the car.